about Escape Room.
Why?
Because it's so bad that I want to rant about it. Alright.
Hey everybody, the other day we saw Glass. Aiden, what's the plot of Glass?
Glass is a sequel to Unbreakable and Split. In Unbreakable, Bruce Willis finds out he's a superhero who is immortal, except he is weak to water. And in Split, a lot of things happen, but there's a guy who has 8 trillion personalities and he can turn into a monster. And in this movie, they sit in a hospital for a while with Sam Jackson, who's in a wheelchair. And then they sit in the hospital for a while. And then they leave the hospital and they punch each other in a parking lot. So, God, what'd you think of Glass?
I thought it was a good movie. Good enough movie. It was kind of boring. I don't know if I'd ever watch it again because it was boring. I hadn't seen Split or Glass or Unbreakable.
They catch you up on everything, which pretty good.
Probably hurt my understand. Not even hurt my understanding a bit, but hurt my investment in the characters because I felt like it's helped. It would have helped me to understand the motivation of the characters better, instead of just being tossed into this world and being like, oh, here are the characters, and the characters are well presented, and I did feel invested in them, but not quite invested well enough that I cared to watch this hospital drama. It was basically an episode of Grey's Anatomy where they just sit there in a hospital the whole time, and then they get out and they punch each other. And I didn't really mind them punching each other because it led to a decent reveal, but I don't know. I honestly don't have a ton to say about this movie. The acting from James McAvoy was pretty good. Sam Jackson did well once he finally did shit. And Bruce Willis was okay, even though he didn't really do anything in the movie. He was a pretty, like, the first 20 minutes with Bruce Willis was really cool. Then they kind of just dropped Bruce Willis from the movie until the last 5 minutes. Yeah, and it was like I started to feel kind of invested in Bruce Willis. Show. I enjoyed it. But it was the James McAvoy show, which is fine because James McAvoy was great in the movie. I thought he did a good job switching between the personalities and shit. So overall, I thought the acting was kind of more enjoyable than the movie, honestly. It was an okay movie, though. I thought it was good enough. I don't know. I don't honestly have much to say about it. That's the whole thing. The plot was a little muddled, I thought, where it was like, not even muddled in the way that too much was happening, but just muddled in the way that it was like, the plot was fucking weird. Like, there wasn't much of a plot. It was just kind of, let's sit here and talk to them and convince them they're not superheroes for the first hour.
There's like a disjoint, because everything except like the last 15 minutes is just them sitting in a hospital, and then they just...
Well, the first 15 minutes and the last 15 minutes. The first 15 minutes is Bruce Willis tracks down the Beast, and then he tracks down the Beast, and then they sit in a hospital for an hour and a half, and then... The last 15 minutes they fight, and then the last 2 minutes it's like they're superheroes out here.
You could pretty much
they're real.
The entire hospital shit. The movie wouldn't change, but...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the first 15 minutes and the last 15 minutes it could be its own movie, and then you could just put anything in the fucking middle. Like, it could have been a traditional superhero movie if you had the first 15 minutes, and instead of them being put in the hospital, they just, like, fought or something, or Bruce Willis tried to find the Beast or something, and somehow Sam Jackson gets hooked into it, and it wouldn't have changed the plot at all. Or it would have changed the plot, but it wouldn't have changed the beginning or the ending. The start and the end of the movie are pretty interchangeable with any common superhero movie. I mean, like any superhero movie based in reality. Kind of has the Dark Knight problem, where the Dark Knight's kind of hard to watch because it's like... I don't know how it has the Dark Knight problem, but like superhero movies based in realism, I kind of get lost in the, it's like, it's not a realistic concept, and then you try to make it realistic, but then it's just not realistic. This movie did a better job being realistic than most superhero movies, where it's like, oh, they can actually be defeated. They have their own weaknesses as fucking people. It's mostly a mental thing, like Bruce Willis getting drowned. But, like, at the same time, with Bruce Willis's power set, you think he would have just been able to whoop the asses of the SWAT team.
Yeah.
Instead of just being, like, drowned by the fucking head like he was getting waterboarded or something.
Drowned
He,
in
like,
a
goes
fucking
up, he's like, and it's like, dude, these guys got superpowers too? Like, he's super strong. I get that his weakness is, like, water. Like, if Bruce Willis was somehow able to get drowned, that's how you kill Bruce Willis. But he's basically Superman. I don't know. It was an okay movie. It was okay. I wouldn't recommend watching it again. Like, I'm not gonna watch it again. That's what I was going for. But it was okay. It was an alright watch. I didn't hate the movie. I didn't love the movie. I watched the movie. I experienced the movie, and I'll probably never experience it again. So, Aiden, what did you think of this film, which I have named Glass? It is named Glass.
The ending is rough. It makes it hard. I mean, M. Night Shyamalan kind of has that whole thing where he kind of like lives and dies by his endings, and he goes all out with them. I mean, Unbreakable has a classic twist at the end where like Sam Jackson serves as Bruce Willis's mentor the entire movie, and you find out he was like a terrorist who created Bruce Willis just so he could like live out his fantasy, and that kind of works. And this movie's got like the 3 distinct parts. It's like the start, which is like Unbreakable 2, and that shit's pretty good. The hospital stuff's a little dry, but it's carried by like James McAvoy being fucking great, and a little bit of Sam Jackson, Bruce Willis mixed in there, and there's some neat ideas, like both Bruce Willis and James McAvoy like doubting their superpowers. There's like cool ideas, but like at a certain point, the hospital stuff, you're like, how the fuck do you end a movie where your characters just like realize that they don't have superpowers and go home, you know? And so they just eventually the movie just tosses out the whole hospital shit. And just
honestly,
goes to
it would have been
fighting
better
in a
if they
parking
didn't
lot.
have superpowers. That could have been the M. Night Shyamalan twist and would have been good.
Yeah.
And reveal it at the end, like in the last 5 minutes. They're all like,
you know.
Or you know what would be crazy? Hospital fight happens. Instead of killing them, they get recaptured. And then she's like, you don't actually have superpowers. Bruce Willis, you're just like a magician. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. She says the same bullshit as she does in there. And then it like replays the fight and shows how shit happened and like breaks it down. And the
Just
twist
two
is
guys
that they're not
slapping each
superheroes.
other.
They're just strong guys that fought really well. Or something, you know? And
Yeah,
like he's just
I don't
crazy and like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying, though?
But
like, if that part
all
moved to
that-
the end and they didn't really have superpowers, that would have been a better twist. Because
Writing
they
an
add that
actual-
twist in, and then they take the twist out. And I'm only calling that a twist because it was
Writing
in
an
M.
actual
Night
ending
movie,
for all
but-
the hospital stuff was very clearly impossible from the get-go, so it just like becomes a different movie in the final act, and it's just two guys punching each other in
That
the
would have
parking
been
lot.
cooler. Like, Sam Jackson dies somehow. Those two are captured, and then they're sitting in the room, and the movie ends with, we're part of a secret organization, and here you don't really have superpowers, blah, 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 breaks it down. Maybe even goes into the old movies and explains, like, I had never seen the old movies, but, like they kind of go into the old movies with, like, you were only able to break through those cages because the cages were 150 years old and shit, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. The ending's kind of whack. The hospital stuff is really enjoyable, but it clearly just had no ability to lead anywhere, so they just kind of bullshit this ending with, you know, I don't know. It's pretty good overall still, but the ending's just like not that good. It's kind of... So Connor, would you recommend Glass?
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, I'd recommend watching it once. I'll say that you probably won't want to watch it again, but I had a decent enough time watching it. Like, it was good enough. So, Aiden, would you recommend Glass?
Yeah, I would, but I'd recommend watching Unbreakable and Split first. It makes it a little bit better. And speaking of movies, I have another one to talk about, and its name is Escape Room. You probably haven't heard of it because it's a low-budget piece of garbage and also the worst movie ever made. So let me talk about it for a minute.
That might be
Connor refused to go, which was a good decision on his part. The plot of the movie is there's 5 teens. No, they're not teens. There's 5 people who go to an escape room, or 6. There's some amount. There's the black girl, the black Harvard junior high.
Are they
super
like friends
genius.
or something?
No,
too?
that's 5 random people. There's the super genius black high school girl who's in college who her parents died in a plane crash.
So she's this Laurie
And then
Strode, right?
There's my favorite character, who's this guy who works at a grocery store who looks like Lake.
Does he actually?
And the movie introduces him in the weirdest way. Like,
he's sleeping.
It shows him
2 a.m.,
no
2 p.m. and shit.
It shows him working at the grocery store, and his boss comes in and he's like, "Hey boss, I hear you got an opening at the cash register, and I really could use the extra money for working on the cash register." And his boss is like, "I don't think it'd be good for business to have you up front." And I'm like, why the fuck is he saying that? Just because he looks like Lake? He looks a little stinky. He couldn't work the register
at a grocery store.
And I was trying to figure it out, because this is literally the first scene with the character. Then all of a sudden, he pulls a flask out of his pocket, the grocery store kid, and starts chugging it. And the guy's like, I just can't have you up there drinking out of your flask. I'm like, what the fuck? Why isn't this guy fired? And then there's the...
What does he fucking do? Warehouse or something?
Oh, and they all are the last survivor of something, which is like a thing in the movie.
So it's like Final
The girl was the only
Destination
person who
mixed with
survived the plane crash. The guy, the drunk kid, drove his car into a truck, and his friends all died. Then there was the black Wolf of Wall Street, who was in a boat crash, and he ate his friend to survive or some garbage. Did something, choked him or something. I don't know. I don't fucking know. And then there's the girl from Daredevil, the assistant from Daredevil.
The blonde girl?
And she got hit by a bomb. No, the love interest girl.
Yeah, that's what I'm
her.
saying, the blonde chick.
And then there's this fat old guy who looks like Uncle Tim, and he I don't remember what he did. Oh, he was in a cave accident and his brother died or something. And then there's the annoying Indian kid who always plays video games. And he's like, "I'm a gamer, bro! I've done 150 escape rooms and I know everything!" And he's like the exposition character.
Right.
Oh, thank God, yes. He's like the exposition character, and he just like sits around talking about how escape rooms work in case the audience is fucking retarded. He's like, "This is how escape rooms normally function. I'm playing a video game on my phone. Pew, 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 pew!" And he's just like this autistic Indian guy, and I was so glad that he died. So anyway, they go to this escape room to win $10,000, which is not really a lot. I mean, it's a lot, but like, I can understand why like drunk grocery store kid went for it, but like the Black Wolf of Wall Street, who has his own private jet, I don't really know why he would.
Did they know they were gonna get killed, or like if they lost?
No, but like, he had to have taken off like 5 days of work to go to this escape room that was on the other side of the country. He probably would have made that 10K in those 5 days instead of...
He probably made the 10K while he was sitting there.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Whatever. So, they go...
Or maybe he's super Jewish and is like, "I need the schmeckles." That's racist.
Well, he's black, so...
I need the schmeckles for my schmeckle farm.
So anyway, they
That was racist.
it's pretty much like the most illogical. Like all the characters are just retarded. So the first trap they get into is this room that literally turns into a giant oven and starts cooking them. Okay. And the puzzle they have to solve is that they fill these cups of water so that they can press all the buttons so that they can leave. But they don't have enough water. And so the kid with the flask, the room is about to explode. It literally explodes for no reason, even though it's an oven. It's supposed to be an oven. And the kid is like, there's like 2 seconds left, and he's dumping his flask into the cup. And I was like, why didn't you just put your flask on top of the cup? Like, it's checking for weight. It's not checking if the cups are actually full. Like, I don't know. So much dumb shit happens. They have to get this key out of a block of ice with their body heat. And, like, they have a lighter, and they plan on getting through this, like, 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot block of ice with the lighter. And they lose the lighter, and they're all like, oh, shit.
How the fuck do you lose the lighter?
Like, well, because the Pooh and Lou has the lighter, and the game cheats and just, like, kills him. Like, he just gets murdered by the game. And also, people are taking bets on this game. Like, rich people bet on this game to who survives the longest.
Like, it's Kaiji
and
Ultimate
if the people running
whatever.
the game just, like, cheated and killed the guy I bet on, I'd be fucking pissed. I wouldn't be betting anymore. Like, that's a good way to lose fucking customers. I don't know. So they murder the Pooh and Lou so they can't have the lighter. But, like, honestly, the block of ice was, like, 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot. That lighter would not have gotten anywhere in that shit. So I don't know why they did that. But anyway, it sucks. It's fucking terrible. It's actually... I kind of went in expecting it to be, like, a cheap PG-13 Saw clone. But it really wasn't even that. Like, I think it's a good concept. No, it's a terrible concept. But it's a concept that I like. Kind of like the first Saw was kind of like that. A lot of escape rooms are actually based off the first Saw, but it's not really like that. It's kind of just like Final Destination, but even more retarded. And you know, I went into the movie kind of having a little bit of hope because like Saw movies, people hate them, but I like them. This movie, people hated it. I thought I could like it, and I got in there and I saw the Sony Pictures logo and I was like, oh no, I've made a terrible fucking mistake. But yeah, it's like painfully generic, and then at the end the black girl and the drunk kid win and they shoot some guy who's evil, and then it ends, and it's honestly just completely fucking terrible, and I wouldn't recommend that anyone sees it ever. Okay. Bye.
Bye.